Ricky Pearsall and Juwan Jennings are both out for the 49ers tonight. That's not good for the 49ers. Mac Jones and backup receivers, not good.
I'm going to go with the LA Rams. I think they're healthier, they're at home, and they are on the rise against the 49er team that has a lot of injuries. I'm going to say the Rams 24, the 49ers 16.
I'm with you right now. I have it Rams 27-20, but with all these injuries and that Rams defensive line cooking the way it is, I think the Niners could certainly score less than that. This is a tall task on the road on a Thursday night, and if they don't have Juwan Jennings or Ricky Pearsall either in this offense, it's just Christian McCaffrey, it is going to be some tough sledding.
I don't know about you guys, but for me personally, I am still fired up with that 49ers victory going up against the Los Angeles Rams in Levi South to play one of the most anxiety, pressure-filled games I can remember. Some would say, and I partly am with this could be one of Shanahan's best wins during his tenure as the head coach for the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, there are so many good things that came out of this when all the odds literally were stacked against them despite being down a lot of their key players, specifically on the offensive side of the ball. So had to jump on here, gotta talk about what a win for the 49ers. So with that being said, back at it talking 49ers football. Let's get into it, y'all. Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Ryan Tigey, back in action. The second I saw Mac Jones pull up to Levi South in that Joker villain suit that he had on, no lie, I immediately went and put $100 on the money line for the 49ers. There was something about that swagger, that moxie, that suit choice was unbelievable. And for whatever reason, seeing that confidence in him gave me the confidence to go put it on the money line. Because I will be the first to admit, the 49ers, they really didn't have business winning that game. When you just looked at and factored in all the injuries, I mean, outside of CMC and Kyle Juszczyk, there wasn't any skilled players, starting skilled players on the 49ers that were going to play this game. It was truly a character win, as Kyle Shanahan said in his post-game speech. The guys came out and fought their ass off, and boy, it was fun to watch. But when I looked at it going into this game, and you look at the sports books, I mean, at first the Niners were like 3.5 point underdogs, and then it went to 8.5, and on the even some sports book, I saw 9. Now, clearly, a lot of this line movement has to deal with the money that the books are getting in, and clearly, a lot of the public were on the Rams, which caused the line to move. And of course, the injuries played a factor into it and all that. But I knew for certain there was no way the 49ers are going to lose by 7.5, 8, 8.5, 9 points. So I was going up against the spread all day, every day. For any fan that religiously watches the 49ers, we know this rivalry game. It's better than the Seattle Seahawks rivalry now. San Francisco 49ers versus the Los Angeles Rams. This is the rivalry in the NFC West now. It used to be the Seahawks. Well, it ain't no more. It's 49ers versus Rams. But let's get into the game specifically. This was impressive on all fronts. Literally, you can say offense, defense, special teams, and coaching. All 3 phases of this football game were truly impressive and so fun to watch. And boy, was it nerve-wracking because you knew that the Rams were going to come back. It almost started off too good where it's like, okay, is this going to turn into a devastating loss? But ultimately, the 49ers, as we know, were able to hold on. But there's a couple things I just got to highlight just with how impressive the jobs have been that we got to witness on Thursday Night Football. First and foremost, the coaching from Kyle Shanahan. Not to discount what Robert Saleh is doing, because I'm going to get into that here in a little bit. But Kyle Shanahan, he was in his bag. He had the offensive play calling dialed up. He came out aggressive and remained aggressive throughout the entire game. Now, minus the one where the 49ers in the fourth quarter were starting from their 1 or 2 yard line. He went a little conservative, which was a little bit of a head scratcher, but nonetheless, outside of that one possession, he remained aggressive, going forward on fourth down. And we saw the creativity of Kyle Shanahan. You know, when Mike McDaniel was here, he got a lot of credit for the 49ers run offense, rightfully so. But people tended to discount how much Kyle Shanahan has to do with play designing in this offense, or it doesn't get talked about a whole heck of a lot. People just kind of say it in general sense, like we know Kyle Shanahan's one of the best offensive minds, but we saw it in action last night. I mean, on that Christian McCaffrey touchdown, lining up in basically a condensed 23 personnel to then shift and essentially run a sprint left option for a touchdown because he knew there was going to be a mismatch of a linebacker on Christian McCaffrey. I don't know if I've seen another coach run that, at least in the recent history of games in the past couple seasons, lining up in 23 personnel, shifting to then knowing you're going to have a mismatch and then letting Christian McCaffrey cook with his route running. Truly, it was impressive throughout the entire game, pushing the ball down the field, still sticking with his bread and butter, trying to get the run game going. But again, we all know all these teams are stacking the box and saying the way you're going to beat us if you're the 49ers is you're going to have to beat us in the air. And that leads me to my next person. Mac Jones, an absolute warrior. I will say this, Mac Jones, he's got a quirky personality, and especially coming up through the Patriots, you saw him, he had a phenomenal rookie season, and then of course it started to spiral downhill when Matt Patricia, who's never coached offense in his life, Bill Belichick made him his offensive coordinator. So you saw the problems that occurred in New England. And then, of course, Mac Jones had that little period of essentially looking like he's a dirty player, and his body language is bad. He always didn't really have any good highlights of him, whether it be on the sideline or in his play after his first year. And to be honest, I wasn't the biggest fan of Mac Jones coming into this. I'm a Mac Jones guy now. He truly, the heart he showed in last night's game, and you know when you like somebody, when you see them potentially injured, like I'm sure everybody thought that was watching it on the TV, Mac Jones is injured. We are literally screwed. Of course, this is happening to the 49ers. To then have it just be known a little bit later, it's cramps. The guy jogged off the field and was back in the game. It was truly unbelievable. He got peppered the entire game. I believe he took around 7 hits, but he was playing with anticipation. He just looked like he was commanding the offense. Kyle Shanahan didn't have to dumb down the offense at all without having his starting quarterback in Brock Purdy. In fact, he put in a game plan that was probably one of the more aggressive game plans we've seen with his backup quarterback. So that shows you the confidence Kyle Shanahan has in Mac Jones. And let alone, you got to think if you're Kyle, you got to be thinking a little bit like, I told you guys, this is why I like Mac Jones. I knew that this is what this guy could do. And holy smokes, did he show it going up against the Rams. I mean, play in, play out. He was getting the ball to his spots. And you know what's interesting about Mac Jones and just talking about his personality is you also have to remember where Mac Jones came from. He played under Nick Saban in Alabama and then immediately gets drafted by the Patriots' Bill Belichick. So he essentially got institutionalized by how to be a professional quarterback and act like a quarterback, how you talk to the media. And you could tell that's not really who Mac Jones is. Mac Jones is a guy who likes to have fun. And you see it in some of his press conferences and interviews that he does. And I thought it was really interesting that Kendrick Bourne said this following the game, talking about Mac Jones and where he sees Mac Jones at now versus where he was in New England.
I think Mac is just, he's built the right way. His mental is the right way. He prepares the right way. I've seen it for a while now, and I'm just proud of him, man. I can, even when he's throwing the ball, I be telling him at practice, like, man, you zipping the ball and how he's throwing it and stuff like that. It's just you can tell he's confident and things like that. And it's just awesome to see him in this space. How I seen him in New England was a different world for him. So to see him now kind of with like the piece he has and he's playing free and having fun, I think it's a big part of the game for him. So it's showing.
So I think that's great perspective for a guy that was playing with him in New England and now both playing on the Niners. And you know what also is just an awesome kind of marriage of people is you can tell Mick Lombardi the 49ers quarterback coach, was with Mac Jones in New England. I think that helps a lot. He knows who Mac Jones is. He knows what makes him tick. He knows when he needs to lay off him, encourage him. And then, of course, with Kendrick Bourne there as well, too. Those three, clearly it has showed not only on the chemistry component, but that they both, all three of them, know how to balance each other out, which I believe has been paying massive dividends from what we saw on the field. And also another interesting clip I heard about why Mac Jones is having so much success here in San Francisco versus, again, in New England. Let's listen to what his former college coach, Nick Saban, the GOAT, had to say about Mac Jones. Let's take a listen.
I'm so happy for Mac, but I think Mac was one of those guys that was in bad situations in New England relative to coaching and all that type of stuff, and who was the offensive coordinator and how did he get developed when he came in the league. And he hasn't been in great circumstances. I think right now he is in a really good circumstance with Shanahan, their offense, the players he's got around him, because he is a guy that will execute. He's really, really smart, so he's going to do exactly what you tell him to do. And he wants to know exactly what you want him to do. And I'm not sure he always got told exactly what it was expected of him before going to the 49ers.
So I think that is phenomenal perspective as well. Mac Jones likes to know, he likes to have a plan. He likes to know where he should go with the ball, and that's exactly what Kyle Shanahan's offense does. Everyone talks about how Kyle Shanahan's offense is a QB-friendly offense. That's what people said when Brock Purdy started having success. It's because of Kyle Shanahan's QB-friendly offense. Essentially every quarterback, and it's hard to deny that it's not a QB-friendly quarterback. Why else are we getting good backup quarterbacks to come resurrect their career? It's because they want to be under the Shanahan offense, because it is a QB-friendly quarterback. And Kyle Shanahan's play calling, he tells them exactly the answers to anything the defense throws at him. And again, if that's what Mac Jones prefers versus having to freelance a little bit, this just shows this is a potential really good match for Mac Jones, having Kyle Shanahan as his offensive coordinator and head coach. And make no mistake about it, the Rams are a legit team. I believe wholeheartedly the Rams are going to get into the playoffs. I don't think many people question that. They are one of the better teams in the entire NFL. The Rams are a legit team. They are a legit defense. And of course, we see what they have on offense. So this is an extremely impressive win, and you can't minimize the impact that this will have moving forward for the Niners. Not only just building confidence, but now they are 3-0 in the division. Most people count division wins as 2 games because that's how you get into the playoffs, is winning your division. And right now, the 49ers have a clean sweep going 3-0 in the division, with a lot of divisional games still got to be played by the 3 other teams, Rams, Seahawks, Arizona. So you just have to tip your cap to the performance that the 49ers had in all phases to get that win, because truly, that was a big-time win. The 49ers, again, they didn't have any business winning that game, going up against a relatively healthy Rams team. The 49ers are broken with all injuries on both sides of the ball, all over the field. Hell, we saw injuries during the game, of course, from the 49ers to still get the win. And truly, like I said in the beginning, one of the best wins I have seen in the Kyle Shanahan era. 100% effort through everybody, and it took all of them to get the job done. We have to pivot to the defense, because the defense, yet again, under Robert Saleh, continues to get better and continues to impress. We saw the bad performance going up against the Jags, where they basically had no QB pressures, no QB hits, no QB sacks. And then they come back to this game. They get a takeaway. They are putting pressure on Matt Stafford. You saw him had to move out of the pocket a bunch of times because the 49ers, whether it be through blitzing or just their normal 4-down rush, we saw Matt Stafford have to get off his spot because the Niners D-line was applying pressure. And when you just look at this 49ers defense, and again, how young they are, especially with some of the injuries that occurred, seeing guys like Alfred Collins step up, Mikael Williams being a beast in the run game, flying all over the field, and then Alfred Collins with that goal line punch out against Kyron Williams, that was a game-saving play. I knew it in the core of me. My bones knew it. Everybody on the face of the planet knew the Rams, they're going to score here. And then the 49ers are going to be left with little to no time. and they're going to have to try to drive down the field yet again. But no, the rookie defensive tackle stepped up with a hell of a punch. I mean, my God, that was a swing for the fences. That would have broken my arm had that hit me. But for him to punch that ball out, being a rookie in a primetime game, a division rival on the goal line, you can't say enough good things about that. And the 49ers defense, again, they continue to get better, but they continue to fly around and make plays when they need to make plays. And the creativity they got to use, especially being down Nick Bosa, who's instituting that? Robert Saleh. And of course, none of this would be possible without Fred Warner being the leader in the middle. Fred Warner, there's not really too many adjectives or verbs that you can say about Fred Warner, but the guy is just truly suit him up for a Hall of Fame jacket now. That's where he's headed when his career is done, because the guy has an engine like not too many other people have on a football field, and he continues to make play. When the 49ers had that 4th down stop to end the game in overtime, who was the first guy through? Fred Warner. Who was the first guy to have actual physical contact with Kyron Williams on that 4th and 1 stand? Fred Warner. So again, Fred Warner, captain, all-pro, Pro Bowler, future Hall of Famer, and you see it, and you just got to appreciate it when you get to watch it every week with him stepping on the field, because he is so fun to watch. Sometimes I catch myself when the 49ers are on defense, I will just be locking in on Fred Warner because he's always around the ball and he's always making plays. So again, you got to love to see it. And then finally, the 49ers special teams were not the problem. In fact, the 49ers special teams were actually an asset this game. I can't remember when the last time I've said that. Outside of maybe a couple years ago when Robbie Gould would hit clutch field goals, maybe I would say it then. But with the 49ers coming down with a block, Eddie Money De Niro with a career-long 59-yard field goal, a doinker to get it in so to put the 49ers up 3 in overtime. I can't believe I'm finally getting to talk about the 49ers special teams helping the team win versus just not doing anything to mess it up or to helping them lose the game. And boy, this is so much more preferred, seeing the special teams contribute to the win. And you just got to really appreciate it when it happens, because as we know, under Kyle Shanahan's tenure here, we haven't seen it happen that much, at least nothing I can remember outside of a Robbie Gould field goal. So you love to see it. Hats off to Brant Boyer and those boys for actually getting the job done and helping the team contribute to winning that game. And my final thought here as I wrap it up is I think it's clear now, not like it was debatable really, but I just think it's so obviously clear that Christian McCaffrey, he's the most valuable player that Kyle Shanahan's ever had. The amount of attention he attracts to open other players up, how good he is at route running. We know how good he is at running the football, even though the 49ers have yet to get that going. Again, that's going to change a lot whenever Kittle comes back. I was hoping Kittle was going to come back for this Bucs game. Kyle Shanahan said it's a long shot, so maybe he comes back versus the Falcons game on Sunday Night Football. But that will change. The running game is going to change a lot when Kittle comes back because he's that dual threat. He's the best blocking tight end, but he's also one of the best catching tight ends. So when Kittle comes back, just watch. You hear it here. The run game is going to improve with Kittle being back. But with Christian McCaffrey, everything he does is purely spectacular. The guy very rarely has a missed assignment or does something he shouldn't. And you just see it every time he's on the field. And you can tell with how many touches clearly he's gotten. Kyle Shanahan truly believes that if all these players are down, he can still win if Christian McCaffrey is healthy and on the field. And I'm starting to believe that too, because again, when you look at the cast of characters that the 49ers are playing with, the 49ers were predicted to get routed by the Rams. But you see the Christian McCaffrey effect game in, game out, regardless of the skill players that are around. He still opens up for other players to make plays. And truly, Christian McCaffrey is one of those special, special players. And I am so happy till this day. It was still, without a doubt, my favorite trade of all time that the 49ers made when they traded for Christian McCaffrey from the Carolina Panthers. And truly, Kyle Shanahan and him being a duo, and you hear how much Christian McCaffrey talks about how he loves Kyle as a coach and how just of a genius Kyle is. I truly believe that's a match made in heaven. And I'm willing to bet when it's all said and done that Kyle Shanahan will say his favorite player to ever coach is going to be Christian McCaffrey. I just truly believe that. So nonetheless, you'll love to see it. Everything about that game, just the performance of the game, the back and forth, the anxiety, the pressure, the primetime spotlight. And boy, does SoFi look good in a primetime spot. Just the field, just in the stadium, just everything looks top notch. Truly fun to see. It was just an all around great Thursday night football game. And you got to love it that the 49ers now 4-1, 3-0 in the division, which is really all that matters. And so I'm excited to see what the 49ers have next, going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa. Is Brock Purdy going to be back? I will have a video coming out about Brock Purdy here shortly and just about his performance and kind of the situation that's going on with him. But is Brock Purdy going to be back? I don't think so. I'm willing to bet now if Mac Jones is good enough to play, they're going to tell Brock Purdy, let's take another week. Let's get you right. Brock Purdy's still our guy, but we feel totally comfortable playing with Mac Jones because we see what Mac Jones can do under Kyle Shanahan and running this offense. So, all right, y'all, let me know in the comments, what was your favorite part about the game? There's so many things to choose from, but I'm really curious to hear what was your favorite part. So, all right, y'all, but until my next video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. You know the deal. Hit me up. Peace.